talking to different individuals about their experiences and how passionate we are about, let alone Tennessee State, but the HBCU experience alone, and experiencing other HBCUs and homecomings and different people in our past. And it's just like, we could talk about this all night. Literally, we could trade stories all night. We had Charles on here, and we was talking. We cut the recording off, and we talked like 2 hours afterwards. Just about he was just going on and on. He was like, "Oh, this is when I'm awake." So he said, "I hope y'all can bear with me." We just like, "Hey, go ahead, bro." And I mean, he giving us all this content, and we ain't even have it on record. You know what I'm saying? So, but I say all that to say, two things. Mm-hmm. We talk about this HBCU culture, but it's a lot of people that have a lot to say about it.
Correct.
And they're not a part of it. So one thing, who can talk negatively about HBCUs, and also how can those people support if they would like to support?
Man, and that's a good question. Listen, and I'm going to give you two examples first. The Ed Reed situation at Bethune-Cookman, y'all, it had me on Twitter and other platforms on Twitter who are in the space every day. Like, I feel like you're defending HBCU culture and how the administration behaves to outsiders who are not involved in it. Same thing with Dion and his leaving Jackson State. And I wrote a post and a little caption the day before the announcement came, because I had someone who's at Jackson State and the alumni president, like, this a press conference is called. He's going to leave tomorrow. So I kind of knew that. So I wrote something that says, regardless of what occurs tomorrow in this press conference, we have to acknowledge like the positive contributions that Dion did and the spotlight that he did give Jackson State, SWAC, and HBCUs. But we've been here before he got here. We're going to be here after he got here. And so at the end of the day, it's not a trend, yo. Like, this is a shift. Like, people are I always say, and I shout out, let me going back, shout out to Ed Too Tall Jones, 1974, number 1 overall draft pick out of Tennessee State. You had an opportunity, you had a time where the best Black athletes, students, everyone went to HBCUs because they didn't have a choice to go to PWIs, because they weren't not letting them enroll because of the color of their skin, right? So we have to always understand that. We had an opportunity with the best football players, going back, Walter Payton, Jerry Rice, Steve Manier, all these guys, legendary players. We had a number 1 draft pick, right? And what they realized is, golly, Tennessee, Alabama, they're like, oh, we got to get a bunch of those guys, right? So it transitioned from having the top players go to a few here and there, right? And so when I look at it, we're always going to be around. We've had to do so much with far less resources than other schools had to. Just imagine if all our top talent stayed home or came home and didn't go to Colorado or Florida State or Duke in basketball, wherever it would be, right? And they stay home. Like, we would have the financial resources, the stadium, the infrastructures to do all that. With all that being said, is to go back to the original question is, honestly, if you are not a HBCU alum, student, supporter, or financially give back, I don't really care what your opinion is, right? Honestly, I don't, right? Because at the end of the day, a lot of people talk about something that they know nothing about and talk as if that they are expert in this said subject because they know football or they know, whatever. Unless you acknowledge the fact that HBCUs have had historical underfunding for decades, generations, and that's the reason why we have issues in terms of infrastructure, dormitories that need to be updated, buildings, departments, schools that need to be updated. We have funding issues. We have a lot of financial issues. If you didn't have a racist legislature in place to strip and prevent HBCUs from getting money, we'll have a campus as big and beautiful as UT or Memphis, whoever it will be. And so I hate when people who are outsiders talk negatively without acknowledging the fact why these negative things are here. Yeah, situations happen, but that's how I feel.
No, to all those points too. While working at Howard, I'm in finance, and I'm literally looking at the bottom line, and I'm like, man, Duke is playing tonight. And they got Zion. They got all these guys on their team. And this one, Cam Newton's little brother was playing for the football team.
Yep.
I say, imagine if Cam Newton's brother came, Terrell Owens' son came, Chad, whoever. They just built a roster over there. Then with the basketball team, let's say 2-3 guys came for the basketball program. I said, sports athletics alone will carry this institution unlimited. And I said, you think about like Duke. Duke don't even need students to be there. Their sports programs alone can carry the institution. So I say, imagine that for HBCUs. Imagine the players stay and all this footage and money people pay to come there to these games. Because it's like HBCU games, it's like, yeah, we get tickets, but they give a lot of them away to get people to the stadiums. But people are waiting outside of these Duke and North Carolina games for 2 weeks.
Right.
Like to get in these games and pay top dollar. And it's just like, imagine if HBCUs had this experience.
Right.
And I just tell people, me and a couple of my friends argue all the time, it's going to be a shift. And Nick Saban see Deion changing the game. He did it at HBCU. He's going to do it at Colorado. He's going to turn Colorado into a fake HBCU because of what's going on. Because all them guys that got talent,
that's how Corey Phillips.
That's how Corey Phillips, my neighbor. You know what I'm saying? He's going to eventually change the trajectory. People are still going to go to Alabama. People are still going to go to the Oregons. But Deion is going to do something in Colorado that people are going to forget it's a PWI because of how he's about to shift that. And I just be sitting back thinking like, man, if Deion if he did that for TSU, but this shift is coming and people are going to start going to these HBCUs and it's going to be a force to be reckoned with. And I mean, we see Nick Saban got mad when Deion took one of his players. He was like, oh, he's paying that guy. Well, guess what? He got NIL money now, so he can kind of pay the guy. But
and two things to that, and I'm going to caveat, basketball is so much easier to change a school's fortunes because you only really need like 2-3 players, right? I'm going back to Fab Five, in all these scenarios. If you actually had a group of talented 3 to 4 to 5 guys that say, you know what, we could go to North Carolina, right? But no, let's go to North Carolina Central, bro, because we're only going to be in school technically if we're really elite basketball players for 2 years anyway, right? Because if you're really elite, you're going to be there. And you're going to say, we're going to win a national championship at North Carolina Central. You know what I'm saying? Because you can go, because at the end of the day, the TV cameras are going to follow you wherever you go. Perfect example. John Morant was not even ranked in South Carolina coming out of, I think, Sumter Hillcrest High School, wherever it was in Sumter, right? He wasn't even ranked. He went to Murray State. By the time his last year were there, Murray State was on ESPN, bro. So they're going to find you wherever you are. I'm talking about basketball is so much easier. I like Duke basketball, right? I've gone to Duke's gym. It holds 9,000. It's a historic spot, but it's not. Alabama State has a far better basketball arena. Prairie View has a far better basketball arena than Cameron Indoor, right? But it doesn't have the historic kind of presence that is there. If you're trying to tell me if you want to change it, basketball can be the way to change it. But going back to this whole Deion conversation in Colorado, yes, the players they'll be blacker, right? The overall, team, support staff, things of that nature. But look at that crowd. The crowd of the game, it ain't no HBCU crowd. Look at the band. It ain't an HBCU crowd. That tailgate ain't an HBCU crowd. So you can get a little dip of the ton of the drink, but you're not gonna get the full drink because it's not there. Yeah. Like it's not. So yes, I feel like the shift is happening. I said this before George Floyd died, when a lot of people were kind of saying the shift is happening. It just takes a couple of players to be successful. The whole Maker scenario at Howard, he got hurt, didn't work out well. Howard is not really good at basketball. I wish he'd have gone to Central instead, or Norfolk State instead. But it's going to take a couple of players, and I feel like basketball, the shift will happen way quicker than football.
Man, that's great content, man. So let us know when it comes to HBCU alum, what do you see it in 5 years? So, I mean, of course, again, we'll just give me your flowers because what you got going on is amazing. But 5 years from now, I can only dream about what it's going to be. But what do you see in 5 years, HBCU alum?
And that's a great question, because I'm gonna look at it in two parts. One, from a media standpoint, I want it to have a division where it is a legitimate, credible national news organization, right? Not just simply a social media platform where we're highlighting things on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter. I'm talking about something where we are not only on our website, but actually print and video kind of journalism aspect, where we are spotlighting the same thing we're doing, but on a wider scale. All things HBCU students, alumni, supporters, history, breaking events, current news, things of that nature. The other division, I would say, of it has been kind of this apparel thing. I've been looking at ways to scale up, whether it be grants or funding or just opportunities for design. Because everybody, y'all fresher than me, right? Right, in terms of y'all apparel. But I think like I have a niche that people who are really passionate about their schools, they want to kind of support it, and they like to have something that's different. I call this right here the airport shirt, right? I want to sell you an airport shirt. I want you to walk around in a terminal and people say, oh, what's that? Oh, let me see if my school's on there. Oh, what are these schools, right? It always sparks conversation, right? So that was kind of one of the reasons why I had this quote unquote HBCU alum definition shirt, to highlight a definition I thought would have people read and have people say, oh, what school you went to? Because every time I go around with a shirt on like this, people always say, oh, what school you went to? What school you attend to? And I say, well, I graduated from, you know what I'm saying? So the starter piece is what I want to have. And so I think from a 5 years down the line, I want to have a sustainable business in terms of apparel that takes me out of the corporate sector, that from a day-to-day standpoint, I don't care about the celebrity aspect, but I want to make sure that this is a shirt that every airport that you go to, you're going to see somebody with it on.
You know what? Now that I think about the airport situation, it probably was a couple of years ago, and I don't know if this was your site now that I think about it, but somebody said something on social media and said, whenever you're in the airport, you should rep your HBCU. And that's for me to the point where I don't care. I'm putting on a TSU hoodie. And like you said, it will start a conversation. People, oh, TSU, Jackson State, and it started as like a conversation to the point where now I may wear my clothing brand, but I might have a TSU hat on, something, or I got to put my HBCU on there, or I might have my Kappa chain on with my diamond on it. People can be like, oh, and so I definitely agree with that the airport vibe. It probably was you that I saw this on.
Yeah, I did tweet that one time, but I'm not going to take it. I saw somebody else tweet that, and I think I actually retweeted, and then I formulated maybe a graphical post on it, because I said that too, man. As y'all know, everything's about connections. You never know who you're going to meet. You never know who's going to bump into you. It's so many times, especially at Atlanta, Hartsfield, Jackson, if I got a TSU shirt on, an HBCU shirt on, 3 to 4 TSA workers are going to have a conversation to say either, oh, my homeboy went there, or my dad played ball there, or, oh, honey, what year you graduated? I was leaving a flight to LA. When I was landing in LA, the lady who was the flight attendant was like, oh, you went to TSU? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, oh, I graduated such and such. And we just had a conversation. Clearly, I moved out the way to let people get off the plane, but we're here talking just about TSU. Wow. So you never know who you meet, and if I wish I'd have met her earlier on the plane, she probably would have looked out for me on that drink.
That's what we going to do. We going to look out.
Right, exactly. So yeah, you're right about that. 100%, man. Every time you out, I say anything that has a stadium or arena or airport, like you represent your brand. Throw that BOB needs to be across the chest. Right. Original garments need to be across the chest, or your school, because that's free marketing. All right, that's a way that you're going to touch in an arena 15,000 people. About football game, 60, 70,000 people. They may not see you, but get a little walkthrough. Y'all know, like every time you're in a football arena, you got to get a chance to get content. You got to get a chance to get your brand shown. In the airport, you walk past people all day long. That's like
all walks of life.
Meta marketing, Facebook marketing for free.
Yep. Just walking through an airport. And Atlanta Hartsfield, man, whoo, that airport is insane. I definitely wouldn't go through Atlanta Airport with some own branding because there's so many bodies come through that airport. It's ridiculous.
100%, man. So yeah, I say that too. And I don't know where specifically I got that mindset from, but yeah, everybody, especially if you're an HBCU graduate, represent at all times because people will stop you no matter what country, city you in, for sure.
So T, this is my last question. How can outsiders, so non-HBCU, African Americans or people that went to PWIs as Caucasian, how can they support HBCUs and how they can support your HBCU alumni?
Right. So I look at it, and that's a great question too. I look at it as a couple of different things, kind of make a three-pronged answer. One, I would say if people truly want to support, it doesn't have to be financial all the time too. I say that because support can be creating awareness. It could be giving your time, giving energy to say, okay, I want to support this initiative. I want to encourage a kid or someone to look at HBCUs. It could be, I'm going to attend this football game or this basketball game and stimulate money within that school's economy that way, right? That's kind of one. Secondly, I would say financial support. I always tell people, I think I asked a post question to my audience. Hey, when the last time you supported your alma mater or an HBCU, right? And people are proud to say, okay, yeah, I donate quarterly or monthly. I gave last month. I gave to this school and my mom's school, or I gave to this local school, because we all know that schools, especially publicly funded land grant institutions, are historically underfunded, right? We know that. So, I would say financially, even if you didn't graduate, even if you are an outsider, you have another race, you could say, I live in Montgomery, right? I didn't go to Alabama State, but they're here, so I'm going to support them. I'm gonna buy season tickets just because to do it. I'm going to give money to their foundation. I'm going to buy from their bookstore, right? I'd say that's the kind of way to do it. And the third thing is kind of what T. Wig also said beforehand. Like, you're a mentor. You can support the school by being a positive example and representing that school. Because every time y'all step out the house, every time you go in the office, every time you're someplace, at the end of the day, you carry your last name and you carry your alma mater, right? So if they see someone like yourself cutting up, acting a fool, getting arrested, doing stupid stuff, you like throwing a black eye to the school. You're not living up to the quote unquote think, work, serve type of mindset, right? So at the end of the day, I feel like your personal representation of the school, how you carry yourself, if you're hiring HBCU graduates, if you are giving them opportunities in your corporate sector or in any type of scenario, like, the truthful giving back is like how you are presenting yourself and how you're carrying yourself. And I think that's the best thing, because that's going to encourage someone like your three nephews or whoever, the cousins or however it will be, to say, you know what, I'm going to go to that school because I want to be like that.
Wow. Well said, brother. Well said.
Drop the mic, T. Drop the mic, why don't you?
I mean, listen, man, that's dope stuff, though. But I appreciate the questions and I appreciate the opportunity to kind of have this conversation, because this is dope, man. It's thought-provoking. I love what you guys are doing with the platform to spotlight, various people in society, right, who are doing different things in different sectors. And spotlighting them as their personal aspect, but then also kind of what they're doing for the community, what they're doing in the streets. And so I commend you brothers for that, and keep the platform definitely going.
Guess what, brother? So when we created this platform, I said, Mara said, man, who we going to start with? I said, we got to get TC on. First person I thought of, we got to get TC on. Like, this man is doing great things. So I just want to let you know, brother, we've been seeing what you're doing. You're doing great work. And to see that you a man behind this engine, man, like, you trust me, man, the world is watching, you know what's going on, you see your numbers, like, it is definitely something. We appreciate you coming on, man. So in 5 years, we probably won't be able to get hold to you. So we got to catch you out of the game, put a mic in your face, like, hey, we get 5 minutes over here in the corner,
I want to, hey, let's have a conversation. Let's have a conversation 5 years from now. Have a recap and see, how it all progressed, because every day is a day to get better. And I the numbers are one thing, and the followers and all that stuff, that's all cool, but it's fleeting at the same time. Like, I feel like the impact that you will get, like, if it's one person who watched this whole podcast, watch this whole interview aspect, and they took some stuff away from it. Like that's the true value of it, right? So if somebody says, golly, man, like I'm not doing enough, or golly, like I thought about doing this, I'm going to do this next year, bro, do it today. That's the only thing I'll say, man, because I know so many people who say, God, I want to start this business. I want to do this. If you ain't start a business during the pandemic, you ain't never going to start one. You're not.
Me off the ground, man. I said, man, I got to do something.
Yeah, just do it. Like whatever you got in your mind, don't think it's silly. Don't think too much saturated, oversaturated. Bro, it's 1,000 beers out here and new beer companies dropping every day, y'all. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, if you got something you're passionate about and you fun, it's fun to me. Like this stuff is fun. Like creating content is fun. Educating people is fun. Like engaging, doing funny stuff. Funny, informative, engaging, bro. That was the three things, man. That's it. Funny, informative, engaging, bro.
You definitely provide that. Yeah. So this is my last question, and this is what I like to drop on people as the last question. And I've been thinking about which one I want to ask you. I want to ask you two, but I'm going to ask you this one that I typically ask people. One question is, you don't have to answer it, but I wanted to ask you this question. I was going to ask you, what album could you listen to non-stop? Like no switching, but don't answer the question.
Okay.
My question is 5 dinner guests, dead or alive, and why?
Wow, that's a good one. Dead or alive. And my mix is going to be really interesting because they probably are not really compatible. First one, I like to have living. I would like to have President Obama, right? I want to have the conversation, discussion with him. Second of all, we'll have Mr. Sean Carter, Jay-Z at this specific dinner, and I hope I don't got to pay the fee to get him there, right? Third of all, I'd actually probably like to have Dr. Martin Luther King there as well, and have him sitting across from Malcolm X, right? Because I want to have this conversation amongst these leaders. And then I'd probably say if I have to have a fifth person at this meeting, this is a tough one. Just from the alliance, I'd probably say I'd like to have Oprah there because I want to kind of pick her brain and have her be a mediator between Martin and Malcolm.
TSU.
Right? It had a TSU connection in there as well, and ask her why she won't come to homecoming.
Hey, there you go. I was just passing through Nashville Airport, and I passed by that big sign they got the TSU quote and stuff.
That's dope. I
walked by it, and I'm like, man, she don't really be talking about TSU. But I said, no, let me get this picture. I gotta let people know.
Yeah,
the name is out here. Like, hey, don't get it twisted. She is ours. She's ours.
And I'm gonna keep it real. Behind the scenes, she's done a lot of stuff. Because even when I first got to school, the year before, our email address was like @Harpo or something. It was like @Harpo edu right before I changed. Yeah, it was Harpo was the email address. It wasn't like @tennstate.edu. It was like @Harpo edu. That's what it was, which is interesting. And I didn't understand that, but that's what it was. And then second of all, I do think that she donated to the performing arts building. I just think that it wasn't acknowledged and she didn't want to state that. And I know Dr. Glover did have her. So I think she donated like $2 million for something a couple of years ago. But I wish she was more engaged. I feel like it's all Alpha Chi's fault because they didn't let her get down and join the chapter back in the day. So she got beef with TSU. So I blame the Deltas for that all the time. Straight up.
Hey, Alpha Chi. Goodness gracious.
Yeah. But I'm going to answer your first question too. I'm a big Hov fan, right? I'm also, that's a tough one. So I like Jeezy, I like J. Cole. I would actually probably say, just because I did the Thug Motivation 101 with the symphony, I'm going to say TM 101 from start to finish, no skips. Yeah.
Hey, I saw you was at that too, and I saw people talking about it. And I actually went to his Snowman anniversary tour a couple of years ago, and it was a vibe too. He brought out like 3 Stacks, Usher, all kind of people. It was crazy. But yeah, I hate it. Could you not have no phones in there or something?
No, they took your phone. So that's why you have no footage.
That's what I was wondering. I was like, you don't got no footage of the event, but you showing like the outside and stuff.
So they had it strategically set up where, they had photo opportunities for you outside. And then once you get into the lobby area where they had the bar and stuff at, right? So when you walked in the Symphony door, they gave you a pouch. They put your phone in there and they snapped it closed with a magnet, right? Yeah. So then once you left out the hall, then you can go and put your phone on the magnet and open. I saw one person in there with their phone. So I think she brought two, which was smart. So, because at the end, I looked back and I saw somebody and she had her phone out. And I'm like, you could have done that if you really knew. You could have just gave them a phone and kept the other phone in your pocket.
So I just went to a comedy show. I went to Wanda Sykes comedy show. Mm-hmm. She had to do a Netflix thing. And they did the same thing. They took out a phone. Right. And when I was going in, my cousin was like, but you know the way to get away with it. You got two phones. They just say you put your phone in. You bring two phones in. They take one. And then you got your other one, whatever. And I was just like, I get it. And they was like, even with the Apple Watches and all that.
Exactly.
But, that was my first time experience when they put in the pouch. I'm like, the people alarms going off in the pouch. And she like, oh, that's my alarm. And then she like, oh, that's right. Y'all can't get in the pouch. My bad.
Right. But you know what I liked about that too? And I think more concerts and more events need to do that. Because, bro, you like really watched it. You really involved in the joint. Yeah. So I'm like, everybody saying word for word. You in there. It's nothing like this. Yep. You know, I went to the LeBron game for the when he broke Kareem record. Everybody's doing this the whole time.
Yeah, they're trying to get it.
Everybody trying to get their footage.
Everybody want their content.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody want content. And so, you actually, it's like Tuskegee homecoming, bro. You can't use your phone. You in the mix. You're talking to everybody. Your phone don't work.
That's a vibe.
That's like, man. Shout out to LeBron, man. Shout out to LeBron, man. I seen 3 years ago, I was able to go be at a Lakers game. We was courtside.
Oh.
Yeah, one of my business partners set up the play. So you know what I'm saying. So, but yeah, man, like he's so no homo, but he's just so like big, bro. Like it's just and you just see, they just man, like to be 6'9", 6'8", 6'9", 240 pounds to be that athletic, man. This is like
it's long, bro. Like I didn't. Yeah. Come on, man. Nobody saw this year 20 though. Come on, man.
This was one of my other questions.
Yeah.
Top 3 all time. Your time, all time. Top 3. I ain't giving you 5. Top 3. We know who the 3 is. Your order.
Ooh. Okay.
Top 3 in order.
I'm going Jordan 1.
Okay. That's by hard, ain't it?
I'm
steady long.
Because it's not right. Because I'm gonna say, golly, this is tough. So I'm going to say LeBron and then Kobe, right? But then that's disrespect. Wilt, that's disrespectful to Magic in my mind at the same time, because Magic is in my top 10.
Next level.
Yeah, well, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna go Jordan, LeBron, Kobe in my mind. Because hell, AI my top 10 now. So
with you. There's so many in there, man. I'm with you. And I always think about who I saw. Like Chamberlain, I see all this stuff about Chamberlain.
Yeah.
Hey, I can't. He ain't in it. I ain't see him. But I saw when Mike pushed the little shove to Byron Scott, left that thing up there.
Yeah.
I was like, bruh.
In my lifetime for sure. I mean, I kind of caught a little bit at the end of Bird versus Magic, and when I would really say that Dream Team 92 team, when you had the kind of passing of the guard, because even Clyde Drexler and Pat and Barkley were kind of getting out the way, and Jordan was coming in and took over the league. At that point in time of my generation, for sure, I think it would be even kind of doper if I say the 90s, I'd say Jordan, right? In the early 2000s, it was kind of Kobe in my mind. And then kind of like LeBron, Kobe, like LeBron is kind of still going. And Steph Curry and LeBron now, but and you can throw in KD, you can throw in Giannis, but like LeBron has been over 3 decades, bro.
Facts.
Man, that man said he been playing with half the people's, the son and the dad.
Yeah, facts.
And people love him. I mean, people don't like some stuff he does personally and things like that. Y'all could care less, man. As a basketball player, as a basketball purist, bro, I love watching that man play ball.
Yeah, man. So
think about AI never won a chip, bro.
Yeah.
Listen, but think about it. That team that he got, that Dikembe 2001 team, Eric Snow and those guys, bro, them dudes had no reason being in the finals, and AI got them there.
When you ask Eric Snow to score 25 a game, you know you're in trouble.
Speaking about Jordan and taking over and passing the torch, did you hear about that Magic story when he talked about when they was at the Dream Team practice?
Oh yeah.
And Jordan was going. He said something slick to Jordan, and Jordan went crazy. And he said after they finished, he said, "It's a new sheriff in town."
It is. I saw that Dream Team documentary, man, and I actually watched. I watched some of the footage of that practice that they had. Everybody, you know, that infamous practice where they got beat the first time, and then Jordan came back and lit them up.
Crazy.
And everybody, like, it's so funny because I think about that team, like legendary guy. And at the point in time, I mean, I'm gonna keep it real with you. Christian Laettner was a legendary college basketball player, right? Yeah. And they picked him over Shaq, right? And it's like, it's crazy when you think about it now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that 92 Dream Team, man. Oh man, I would love to be on the bus with those guys.
They created a vibe where we were not used to seeing the Dream Team lose. Remember that? Dream Team was blowing people out by 50. 60. And we were like, they should even play them people. Like, they beat people by 50. And then the last couple of years, we'd be like, oh, the USA ain't win. We'd be like, oh yeah, they ain't last year either.
Yeah, Argentina got good, and Lithuania got good for Spain.
This Euro stuff, man. This Euro game is getting a little. Yeah. I'm like, all right. Jordan was blowing people about 50 every game. Yeah. Championship game, first game to championship game, 50.
Blowing everybody out. That was good basketball, man, for sure.
So T, so you was in the building when he broke the record. Like, how was the atmosphere?
Really, really crazy. So a couple things. Like, I was down at the lower level just to kind of get some footage, but I got that ticket literally a couple hours before the game. I happened to be there in town, so it just worked out crazy for a good price point. So I was up in the third level, right? But I could still see everything pretty good. Yeah. Up in that area, the dude who was to my right, he had flew in from New Jersey, literally for Tuesday and Thursday's games. The other people who were sitting my left, they literally were just like LeBron fans, honestly. So people the entire game was like booing other people for getting the ball or taking shots. Like, Westbrook got the ball and he didn't pass. And like, I don't know if you hear it on TV, but they're like booing him because he wouldn't get the shot. Because here's the thing, LeBron was 36 away. Yeah. And people thought he was going to get it on Thursday against the Bucks.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Exactly. So when he got to halftime, he had 20. Bro, it was like a buzz at halftime for people like, yo, we're going to get this tonight. Right? And so every time he got a shot up, I mean, it was like every time he got the ball, it's like electric, and everybody pulls out their phones. And so when he was down 4, and then people just start standing up. So I don't know if you kind of could see it, but like everybody was standing up because they were waiting for him to get it. And then he got it so fast. Yeah. He got it in the third quarter.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was definitely dope to see. Like, Denzel was down there. You could see him. Jay-Z was there. Hollywood actors and normal folks, but people came out for that game and they stopped the game for like 10 minutes to do all that stuff. Yeah, it was definitely dope to be in the environment, man. I was lucky to get to be in there, and that was my first Lakers game and the crypto.com arena.
So,
that seemed like a great experience. And the way I say that is I was never a Lakers fan. I'm a LeBron fan.
Yeah.
So I'm watching the Lakers game, watching Kobe last game. And I said, I'm going to watch the last game because I think Kobe gonna really show us why he that dog, right? He like on one leg, but he about to show us he that dog. So I'm watching the game. I'm in bed. It's, Lakers game's a late game, 10 o'clock. So by 11:30, I'm like, man, I started sitting up in the bed like, oh man, he going crazy tonight. Right. I'm like, oh man, like he's shooting on like 3 people. He passing it. I'm like, okay, right, this getting real. I was like, this dude go for 50 on his legs. So then hearing like Shaq talk about it, and he was entertaining Shaq on the sideline. He talking to him, and I'm like, "What are he talking about?" And they asked Shaq, "What did he say to you at the beginning of the game?" He said, "I told him to go out there and score 20." He said, "This motherfucker go for 50." Like he just go crazy, and I'm just like, "Bruh," he was literally like that just goes to show what kind of person he was. He's like 20, 30. Let me get to it. You know what I'm saying? I was like, you just can see he was trying to go crazy.
He was, and I looked at his face. I looked at his face, and I was like, he was so intense. To the crowd. It was like playoff game 7 against mine, and that's how you end the game, man. Like once again, personality wise, I hate when people say they like LeBron or they like Kobe. I'm like, why can't you like them both, bro? They're great players, right? Two different personalities. I don't care what y'all want to say about whatever, because Kobe was supposed to be a Charlotte Hornet, and they traded for Vlade Divac, and people forget that.
Yeah.
And Charlotte was supposed to have him, but dude, what a I listened to go listen to his his motivational speeches after he retired. Like I've listened to a couple. I can't remember the guy name. He did a great interview. I can't remember the guy. He's a foreigner. Can't remember his name. David.
Pat David.
Yes.
Yeah.
Listen to that one, man. When he talked about like determination and success and like what create the mama mentality, stuff like that. It makes you feel like, God, am I doing enough? Am I tired? Like, why am I tired? You know. Yeah, we all like to party. I like to hang out, but sometimes to the point like, man, I could be at home working on like creating something new or creating a new design, something that's gonna solve a problem, versus me being out.
Man, you know what Kobe told?
I like to be out. I'm always out.
Yeah, he told Devin Booker, he said, "Go be legendary." He got it tattooed on him, and when I hear that, that's what motivates me. Stuff like that. It's like. Right. I'm out here creating, and then I sell a piece of somebody, and they say, "Keep pushing, King," and I'm like, "All right." And then in my head, that be legendary just be ringing. Like, go be legendary. Now I follow all these black brands, and I'm like, I gotta put my stamp out here, man, because Absolutely. I think I'm great at what I do, and I think people enjoy seeing my creativity. So it's like, be legendary, like, and I'm like, all right, and like Kobe saying, man, it's just like, man, he was dropping gems, man, and I don't even know where he got this stuff from, because Jordan didn't talk like this, but Kobe, like, these jewelry, man, like he just say little stuff, man, and it just be like, all right, like, I got it now.
And I equate everything business-wise to sports, y'all. Things, teamwork and work ethic, having a common goal and individual goals, that's the same thing in a corporate business setting, right? It's just a different arena. So I look at a lot of these speakers and a lot of these different, who's a great leader and who's a person, somebody, a good teammate you want to be around. That's the same thing in business. And so I kind of take those little tidbits. You always see somebody who they think they made it, or they got to the league, and then they get, I can't say fat and lazy physically, but they just get lazy because they feel like they made it, and then they out the league in a year. So ain't nothing promised, bro. You can be in a scenario where you can be doing good, and then you get complacent and content, and you get run right past, man. So never want to peak too early, man. Always be doing this, never do that. So that's how I look at it.
And to your point about bringing the sports analogy in, this is year 2023. I tell people, I'm trying to win a championship. So that's what MJ thought every year we win the chip. So I'm just like, that's what I'm on. Like I'm trying to win a chip. I'm trying to be great. I'm trying to and like you say, I just always think of it like sport mentality. Like I'm in practice, like I'm running sprints. Like I want to give up running these stairs, but if I give up, like who else gonna do it?
Right.
I'm just cutting my situation short, or it's gonna take me longer to get there. So just knock it out. And I put you on like the whole sports analogy. And this helped me get through stuff, man. Like I'd be tired at night pushing these orders out and doing stuff, and I'm like, keep going, keep going.
Exactly. That's because listen, why get tired when it's something that you prayed about and wanted anyway, right? So I look at it that way, like y'all, each one of you guys have something on your chest that you got that wasn't here before you got here. So it's going to be here to leave as your legacy after you're gone, right? So everybody's innovated. If it's content, if it's merch, if it's a service, if it's whatever the scenario is, you're doing something bigger than yourself. Because a brand is something people talk about when you're not in the room and after you leave the room. So at the end of the day, you as a person, that's cool, whatever, but like it's bigger than you. So whatever you're working on, if something happened, that's still by say, oh, he did that, right? Or he started that. No, you know what I'm saying? So like use that mindset to drive you, because that's how you leave your legacy.
But y'all, there you have it, man. We've been so blessed to have Mr. TC on, HBCU alum, man. He's doing a lot of great things, man. Again, flowers to you, man, for all the great stuff you're doing, helping our community. But that being said, our culture, HBCU, stands for Homecoming Brings Culture and Unity. UNITY, everybody. Peace.